Welcome to Cudio. We have an exciting guest on our podcast today. Joining us is Pritika Kumar. Pritika is the founder of Cornelia Chambers, and she is a force reckoned within the legal world. With a whopping 17 years of work experience and a stellar team boasting over 40 years of combined experience, Pritika and her crew come highly recommended by some of the industry heavyweights. So stay tuned for an amazing conversation with Pritika. Let's know her story behind Cornelia Chambers, and towards the end, we will have a Quantraz perspective debate. So here we go. Cheers. So I have a very tough job today, Pritika. I have to ask a question to a lawyer. So this is
Are you
quite
ready for it, Sukant?
to be precise. Yes, I am ready. I'm ready with my cheat sheet because I want
Yeah,
the right question to the lawyer because it's a very difficult conversation.
yeah.
Okay. So first question, Pritika. What's the inspiration behind the birth of Cornelia, and what is the story behind the name?
Yeah, thanks for asking me that question, Sikant. And it's one of my favorite stories, actually. So, the name Cornelia comes from Cornelia Sorabji, and she was one of the first women lawyers of India, the first to enroll to the bar in India, in England, also the first to study law as a woman at the Oxford University. And this takes me back to the time when I had just quit my law firm job. I was working at a city law firm called Jyoti Sagar Associates, and I was quite starved by not having a mentor that I could resonate with at the time. I knew I wanted to practice independently, but I was also really craving for a mentor to be close to my life. And this is when I came across the story of Cornelia, and I saw that a lot of my ideas resonated with hers. Like, for example, for her, securing justice always came first. She was always pushing for women to actually be a part of, like, not just to basically be a part of, like, a lot of, like, of your commercial disputes also. So her story really inspired me. I found a mentor in her, and this is just the time when one of my advisors asked me if I have thought of a name for my practice. So at that time, the first name that came to my mind was Cornelia. And then we collectively named it Cornelia Chambers. So in my mind, I am actually working in her chambers. And she's been the inspiration behind Cornelia Chambers this far.
I will say Cornelia is reborn as Pritika.
No, please let me have my imaginary mentor or actual mentor in place in my office. I don't think she's reborn. I think she's very much still there, leading us and guiding us through the way.
Wonderful. And I understand you also have a new initiative called No Gray. So what's the story behind No Gray?
So the story behind No Gray is that in the last 7 years of building Cornelia, I saw so much gray in the field of law, be it in the documentation, be it in the systems and processes, be it in our enforcement. And I saw that the reason that our legal service system is not working properly is because of the gray in the system. And so, for example, I would see that most of the disputes are arising because the documentation is not clear. And I would see that a lot of people are reaching out to me to draft some very basic level documentation, and for which frankly I wasn't finding the time. And I was thinking to myself, and I was wondering that in this age of technology, why has someone not yet created technology that can actually break this access barrier to high quality legal services, and automate some of these processes in a meaningful way. And while I was personally fed up with all the gray in my own legal service space, I could very clearly see how we are going to solve some of the biggest problems with the help of technology. And I'm someone who really likes everything to be black and white, like simple and clear. So I said, okay, let's solve all these problems. Let's break the access barriers. Let's scale the impact that we have been able to create through Cornelia, and by practicing differently, by building, I feel, better systems and processes as a boutique law setup. Let's scale it through technology, and let's solve some of the biggest legal service problems in India. And let's do it through a platform called No Gray. So that's
Won-
how the name No Gray came up. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, a quick question on this. Do you think more lawyers in a society is a good indication, or less lawyers in a society is a good indication?
Well, interesting question, actually. I mean, it depends on the size of the society. And looking at the size of our society in India, I think more number of lawyers in the society is great news, because provided the lawyers, like we discussed earlier, Sukant, provided the lawyers are able to organize themselves. So if we are able to organize our lawyers, then our society will become more organized. So I think with No Gray, in the making, more lawyers in the society who will work on the systems of No Gray is great news, because that will help organize our society better.
This question was not in my cheat sheet, but this question popped up in my mind because yes, when you have working on such a wonderful mission like No Gray, where I truly believe if the documents are right, if the things are right, then there are less disputes. And to do that, we need specialized skills. So lawyers bring that specialized skills to bring these documents, especially in case of wills, in case of property documents, case of corporate, the collaboration agreements, all those agreements, joint venture agreements, including employee agreements. So if these documents are right, then there is more possibility both sides will understand their role, their
Yes,
responsibility, their rights, and and there will be automatically less disputes because documents are right.
that's
They're black and white. They're
yes,
not gray.
yes, precisely. And I feel that just having more lawyers is not enough. It's also very important to build our lawyers in such a way that they are able to think clearly, they are able to draft clearly, which is again something that we are aiming to do through No Gray. So we've always had enough lawyers in India. The problem has been that there haven't been enough opportunities for lawyers to train and get good reference points. Like, which is why, if you go to like a district court, the quality of legal documentation that you'll get will not be great. And the problem there really is that the lawyers who are doing that drafting haven't been given good reference points. And I don't know so much about other industries, but the legal space is really how well you do your job really depends on the kind of reference points that you have had the opportunity of experiencing. And not every lawyer gets those reference points, because there are not many jobs, not many chambers are open to training many people. So at No Gray, actually, we are not only promising like reducing access barriers to high quality legal services, but we are also reducing access barriers for the lawyers to get the right training, to do the right things. We are trying to build systems and processes and standards for them that frankly our bar councils have not yet built. And so once these lawyers will start using the no gray system, they will be able to deliver high quality services at reasonable rates. So that's really the overall plan, and we're working on it.
So you are setting the house in order. Wonderful.
Setting the house in order. Yes, Sukant.
Okay, my next question. With the rapid advancement of technology, especially in last 5 years, and especially in last 1 year, because artificial intelligence was always getting developed, but there was a stage when it will come for the for public to use. So, uh, uh, when it comes to artificial intelligence, people understand Chat GPT so well that a definition of artificial intelligence nobody need to explain now. So
Yeah,
Chat
yeah.
is
Uh,
already done. So, but ChatGPT is possibly 0.1% of what the artificial intelligence is, and
yes.
next 5 to 10 years we will see more stuff getting artificially intelligent.
So actually, I'm really looking forward to my life as a lawyer becoming easier with the help of technology. Like there are just so many mundane jobs, like doing a due diligence, uh, which don't interest me. And uh, but here's what I feel, that artificial intelligence can only give us as much as the human intelligence is capable of giving us. So, for example, like, I mean, ChatGPT is a great friend of mine, Sukant. Like, I go to ChatGPT with the most, strange questions. And sometimes I've also tested ChatGPT as far as like legal issues are concerned. And I've asked some challenging questions. And actually, ChatGPT is just as immature as some of the young lawyers in the country. And but I don't think ChatGPT, because the answers are coming from, where are the answers coming from? It's all of the data that's stored on the World Wide Web. So the answers that ChatGPT is going to generate are going to be just as good as the answers that the World Wide Web is supporting. And it's going to my mind, like, I'm not an engineer by qualification, but because I'm trying to build technology and I also work in the technology law space, as I understand, what Chat GPT is going to do is it's going to basically process all of the data around the question that I have asked. It's going to process it, and then it's going to give me the answer. But the point is that now I know, as a lawyer who has worked on those issues, that is asking those questions, I know that I'm not getting the right answer. Um, because I know that a lot of the information on the internet is not correct. So I don't know if artificial intelligence is going to solve some of the deeper problems that the legal professionals seek to solve. It is definitely going to solve like some of the mundane problems that we as legal professionals face.
Okay, now I develop a concept called Tynergy. Now, Tynergy is time multiplied by energy.
Yeah.
So you have limited number of hours, and you have such a big mission to work on. So uh, I will say you work with energy and not just time. So what is this energy which keeps you moving? What inspire you, and how do you increase this energy so that your net energy is.
So, Sukant, I am very deeply connected to my purpose and mission in life. And I think it is from this purpose that I have, where I personally feel uh, very committed to the idea of making India a better place by using my skills as a lawyer. I think a lot of the energy that I get from the connectedness to my purpose. I've also found great inspiration in the story of Cornelia. Um, I also feel like great connectedness, a lot of connection with her story there. So She's constantly like a guiding light for me. And then of course there is, I think, one of the greatest sources of energy in my life are my parents, actually, my mom and dad. So I think it is the connectedness of uh, these links, my connectedness to my purpose, the story of Cornelia, and my parents, actually.
Wonderful.
I think,
So you
yeah.
have multi-source energy.
Yeah, yeah,
Energy.
yeah.
Okay.
And of
Okay.
course, my daughter, who's like always asking me the right questions, and
Kids are the
yeah,
best teacher anyway.
yeah,
Okay, so here is our contrast perspective debate, and you use the word validating. So let's see, how do you validate or do you contradict with these two statements? Statement number one. Okay,
yeah.
conflicts are not won but resolved through win-win solutions. So do you agree with this or?
Absolutely agree with this. Absolutely agree with this.
And how far this statement is correct?
I think this is 100% correct. I've personally adopted this win-win theory in my life, and I apply it every step of the way. And mostly, I'm successful. So
Okay, so there
at
is no
all,
debate. So there is no debate on this.
no debate on this. Yeah. Also comes from one of my favorite books, actually. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, the second statement is, sorry, not this. Okay. Mediation is life skill that unlocks success and amplifies happiness.
I is a life skill that unlocks success and amplifies happiness. This is true, and I am, but in some situations it's not true. So it's not all the time true. Like, and I haven't been able to learn to mediate every situation. But what does this exactly mean to you, Sukant? Like,
Okay,
I'd
now
like
this
to know.
see, we are living in the world of perspective where there is no truth, there are only perspectives, because every person is sitting in a different dimension. Even when two people are sitting next to each other, technically speaking, their dimensions are different, their coordinates are different. So this means that there is no truth, there are only perspectives. And when there are clash of perspectives, that is a time when there will be conflicts, and conflicts take away a lot of our energies. So mediation is a life skills. Why? Because between two perspectives, mediation is the bridge. You know, instead of doing argument, if we start agreeing on each other's perspective, you know, without intention of forcing our perspective to the other person, we create a win-win situation. So all I'm saying is, let's not debate about your perspective or my perspective. Let's understand each other's perspective. And if we don't agree with these perspective, doesn't matter. But making an attempt to understand each other's perspective actually brings the bridges. It reduces your leakage of your energy. That means more success and more happiness.
Yeah. But sometimes I feel that conflicts are really resolved when the perspectives are become aligned, actually.
And to align, it is important to understand the perspective.
Until yeah, and yeah, it is important, but sometimes it's very difficult to understand each other's perspective, and it is easier to find a third perspective on which both the people who were not agreeing can be aligned on. I feel
I have
it's important to hear each other's perspective, I think it's not possible to understand each other's perspective, but I feel it's possible to find a common perspective. And when we are able to, in my experience, when we are able to find a common perspective and be aligned on that, uh, the conflict gets resolved and the mediation is successful.
Uh, uh, can you allow me to rephrase this third perspective as respecting that every person is entitled to have its perspective? So even though two perspectives are different, two perspectives cannot be understood by each other, but respecting that the other person is entitled to have his perspective and allowing him to have his
I'm
perspective.
still trying to. I agree with you, but I am going to express my failure at respecting another person's perspective. Like it doesn't come from my heart.
Okay.
Like I have learned to make like statements like, or I am learning to looking at other people, and actually I've never made that statement. That sure, that's a perspective. Like I will hear the other person's perspective,
Mhm.
but in my heart I have not been able to. Um, Understand a perspective that is contrary to mine, but I have actually always made an effort,
Okay.
and in that effort I have found common perspectives, and
Okay.
that's where my success lies. I think whenever I feel that I have succeeded, it's
Mhm.
because I've found like a common place where our hearts meet, even if like we are in conflict.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, everyone feels their perspective is right to my mind.
Okay. Taking this debate little forward, will the answer change if you ask this not from your heart but from your mind?
For me, my heart and my mind, they work together only.
Okay.
So I don't think they work differently.
Okay. So will you accept this answer that even if two perspectives are different, even if people don't understand each other's perspective, even if they don't want to respect their perspective, uh, then let the person go. In the sense that why we have to deal with those people.
You have to let them go then. You don't have a choice mostly, unless you're able to find a third perspective and be aligned on that.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Then
So
otherwise you have to let the person go. Absolutely. And I
my
have done that many times. Yeah.
my whole intention is how do I protect my energy? You know, I do not want to drain my energy uh, in conflicts that cannot be resolved, and
Yeah.
most conflicts cannot be resolved because they are standing on two different perspectives. So if perspective cannot be aligned, if perspective cannot be understood, if perspective cannot be respected, then why I am wasting my energy? Because my
Absolutely.
energy is my success. So if I reduce my
Absolutely.
energy, you know, my energy will reduce and my success will get impacted. So
Very
this is
true.
compromise. Okay.
Very true. That's a great insight, and as my journey continues, I'm realizing that it's very important to protect our energy. So where I find that the values are not aligned, and I'm seeing that perspectives are usually really different, and people are not able to align on a third perspective when the values are different.
Exactly.
And there is no right or wrong value, but it is such a basic thing, the values, that if they are not different, nothing meaningful can come out of that association in
That's
any aspect.
that's true. That's it. And I think this is where Cornelia is doing a wonderful, playing a wonderful role in the legal profession because your values are aligned with the Cornelia's life, her struggle, her values. So you have a guiding light, a northern light
Yes,
for all your team
yes,
members.
that's true. That's very true. We're glad
But,
we found you, or we're glad that she found us, actually. More
yeah,
like that.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you are working with such a wonderful team, and one of the reason is your perspectives are aligned.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Very much. We are all aligned.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pritika, for this such an interesting conversation. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope
Likewise.
you get more chances as you progress, as you do more experiments. We will touch base again and have another set of round of conversation.
Look forward to it, Sukant. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Bye bye. Take
Pleasure
care.
was all mine. Okay, take care.